My Gavanan everyone, welcome to Wiki Wednesdays, a series in which I read a random article off of the Tolkien Gateway. Today's featured quote comes from the Fellowship of the Ring. "The world is indeed full of peril, and in it there are many dark places. But still there is much that is fair, and though in all lands love is now mingled with grief, it grows perhaps the greater." Leave a comment below if you know the speaker of this quote. Today's article, Minas Morgul. Minas Morgul, originally called Minas Ithil, was the twin city of Minas Tirith before its fall to the forces of Sauron in the Third Age. Description: in its prime, Minas Ithil was a beautiful place. The moon cast silver light throughout the courtyards and streets and reflected off the marble walls so that it seemed to shine, the houses shining white as well. The city also had one tall tower with many windows that rotated slowly. The city was accessed by a road which was said to gleam like the city's white marble walls, running over a bridge as it crossed Imled Morgul. Large meadows were placed on both banks of the stream. When it was taken by the forces of evil, the beauty was replaced by terror. The lovely white light was replaced by a sickly green pale light. The meadows were filled with sick pale flowers, and Imlad Morgul began to steam cold, poisonous vapors. At the head of the bridge crossing the stream, the bestial and human figures that stood there were corrupted. From the two towers, the stairs of Cirith Ungol, not the imprisoned moonlight welling through the marble walls of Minas Ithil long ago, tower of the moon, fair and radiant in the hollow of the hills. Paler indeed than the moon ailing in some slow eclipse was the light of it now, wavering and blowing like a noisome exhalation of decay, a corpse light, a light that illuminated nothing. History: the Second Age. After the destruction of Númenor, Isildur and Anarion, the sons of Elendil, landed in Gondor. Isildur built Minas Ithil near the mountainous border of Mordor, from where he would rule the fief of Ithilien, while Anarion built Minas Anor to rule over the fief of Anorion. Minas Ithil housed a palantir, the Ithil Stone. When Sauron returned after escaping Númenor's destruction, he attacked the exiles of Númenor, and his forces took Minas Ithil by storm. When the last alliance of elves and men defeated Sauron in the year Second Age 3429, Minas Ithil was restored as a watchtower. The Third Age. After the defeat of the Witch King of Angmar in the north, he returned to Mordor in Third Age 1980, summoning the other Nazgul with him to prepare the return of their master. A few years later, Third Age 2000, they laid siege to Minas Ithil, and 2 years later, they managed to take the city. The Ithil Stone was also captured and later used by Sauron to influence Saruman and Denethor II. Minas Ithil was occupied by fell creatures, and it changed into a foul, evil place. As a result, it came to be called Minas Morgul, which in the tongue of Gondor means Tower of Dark Sorcery. Many Gondorians fled from Ithilien. From Minas Morgul, the lord of the Nazgul twice challenged his old enemy, King Eärnur. Finally, Eärnur rode with his knights against Morgul. He never returned, ending the line of the kings of Gondor. During the Watchful Peace, the lords of Morgul had secretly bred the Uruk-hai, and in Third Age 2475, these creatures assailed and overran Ithilien. The War of the Ring. During the War of the Ring, a host from Minas Morgul set forth towards Minas Tirith. The host was witnessed by Frodo, Sam, and Gollum. After some opposition in Osgiliath, the Morgul host proceeded to the Pelennor Fields and laid siege to Minas Tirith. However, the host, including the city's garrison, was devastated during the Battle of Pelennor Fields. Following the battle, the army of the west pulled down the bridge leading to Morgul Vale and set its fields aflame. They met no opposition as the entire city's garrison had been killed at the battle. After the War of the Ring, Faramir was made Prince of Ithilien by King Elisar, who advised him to make his abode in the Emine Arnin, southeast of Minas Tirith, or Minas Ithil in Morgul Vale shall be utterly destroyed, and though it may in time come to be made clean, no man may dwell there for many long years. It is not known if the city was ever rebuilt. Geography. Minas Morgul was situated deep within a long, tilted valley that ran back far into the mountains. Some way within the valley's arms, high on a rocky seat upon the black knees of the Ethel Duath, stood the walls and tower of the city. The city could be accessed from the west by a road that led from the crossroads in Ithilien, eventually spanning a white bridge that passed over the stream in the midst of the valley and went on, winding up past the city's gates. Although no eastern gate to the city is described, it can be assumed that there was another entrance facing towards Mordor, as it was from Minas Morgul that the armies of Sauron issued forth in the War of the Ring. Etymology. Minas Morgul is a Sindarin name. It means Tower of Sorcery. It is a compound of Minas, tower, and Morgul, black sorcery. Morgul is a compound of Morn, black, and Gul, sorcery, black arts. Minas Ithil is another of Sindarin. It means Tower of the Moon, or Tower of the Rising Moon. It is a compound of Minas, tower, and Ithil, moon. In Orcish, Minas Morgul was known as Dushkoi. Portrayal and adaptations. 1987 to 1996, Middle-earth role-playing. The Minas Ithil City module contains detailed information about Minas Ithil in Third Age 1640, and 3 adventures that took place in Minas Ithil. The Kinstrife campaign module contains detailed information about Minas Ithil during the time of the Kinstrife, and 3 adventures that take place in Minas Ithil. 2001, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. The Nazgul are shown exiting the fortress, beginning their search for Bilbo Baggins, who is in possession of the One Ring. 2003, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Frodo, Sam, and Gollum pass the fortress during their journey to Mordor. It is portrayed as dark with sharp walls, illuminated by a green, hazy light. Frodo, influenced by the power of the ring, approaches the entrance to the city but is stopped by Sam and Gollum. A large army and the Witch King mounted on a flying fell beast are shown exiting the city, signifying the start of the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. 2019, The Lord of the Rings Online. During the march of the host of the west towards the Black Gate, Gandalf destroys the bridge leading out of Minas Morgul to prevent Aragorn's armies from being flanked. After the downfall of Sauron, this action has an unintentional effect of protecting the dead city itself from any attack from the west. Following Aragorn's coronation, King Elisar charges Steward Faramir and the Rangers of Ithilien with reclaiming the Morgul Vale and cleansing the dead city.